Maria, I just said it. I don't even want to give them credit. No shutdown this weekend, but maybe one next weekend. This is incredible. There is no business, great or small, that could ever operate like this pack of jokers. Do you think anything's getting done here?
Stephanie, this is the challenge right now with what we have is such dysfunction in Congress. And it's one of the reasons why so many Americans are kind of fed up with politics, to be honest, is that they have voted elected individuals to actually carry out the people's business, and they continue to fail to do so. And it's not just impacting our standing here in the United States amongst our neighbors and whether or not we're going to continue thriving as a country, but increasingly we're seeing international entities really scratching their heads and saying, you have a booming economy, but can we really take a bet on the United States right now because you have such great dysfunction in your government? And it's one of the things that I think that has to be addressed during the election, because it's going to be increasingly hard for foreign investment here, because they're going to say, we just can't actually make a bet on the American economy if you have such dysfunction in your Congress. Completely self-inflicting wounds.
Excuse me. Charlie, Mitch McConnell said it earlier this week. Government shutdowns do not help anyone politically. So why do Republicans keep taking us to the brink?
Because they like the chaos, and because they're not a serious governing party. I mean, this perma crisis has been just a feature of the Republican Party. It feels like for the last decade. So we go through this elaborate kabuki dance. I mean, the number one job of government is to keep the lights on, and yet there's a faction in this party that has no interest in doing that. And, you know, I'm really glad that Doug Jones made the one point about Mitch McConnell. As much as people may not like Mitch McConnell or disagree with him, what's coming is likely to be worse. We've seen what's been happening with the House of Representatives. And in many ways, Mitch McConnell was the last bulwark against the crazies, turning the United States Senate into what the House of Representatives has become. And when he's gone, I mean, after him comes the deluge, because, you know, he stood there in the floor of the Senate and basically acknowledged he understood the way his party was going, he understood the politics of his party. And he understands that he held out as long as he could against the Trumpification of the Senate GOP. And now he's gone. So be careful what you wish for.
Of what he said, Charlie. He said he wants to make room for the next generation of leaders. If the next generation is taking us to the house of crazy, then do you buy it? He knows they're crazy. He doesn't like them. He hates Donald Trump.
This is what's fascinating to me, because just a couple of days ago, we read in the New York Times that there are these back channel negotiations for Mitch McConnell to endorse Donald Trump. I want you to think about that. You know, on one level, it's not surprising because he's a partisan animal. On the other hand, we ought to be really shocked by this, considering that he does hate Donald Trump. He knows who Donald Trump is. He knows what Donald Trump did on January 6th. And he had the opportunity back in 2021 to rid us of Donald Trump. If Mitch McConnell had pulled the trigger, we would not be at the moment we are right now. They would have voted to convict. It's very possible he would have voted to convict Donald Trump for his inciting the attack on the Capitol. Then we would not be facing this particular crisis. So I am fascinated by the question of whether, now that he has nothing to lose, he will still go ahead and bow the knee to Donald Trump, ending his career, this long and rather successful career, with the humiliation that so many of his other colleagues have been willing to undergo in order to stay relevant.
And he doesn't need to humiliate himself, Maria. He is consciously, voluntarily stepping out of power. All of these other people need to continue to bow at the altar of Trump so they can stay in power. What do you make of McConnell's move?
Well, here's the thing. His leaving does make more chaos in the Senate because of the next generation of leaders is exactly what Charlie described. They are unhinged in many ways. They actually do not believe in the process of government. They don't believe in democracy. And I'm talking about little d democracy. But I also think that there's an opportunity here for the Republican Party, for those individuals that do espouse Ronald Reagan, that they actually are fashioned after what the Republican used to be. And that is by saying, let's actually declare ourselves independent. Let's actually go forth and say, we are not Democrats. We are not MAGA Republicans. We are independent. And the amount of groundswell, I believe, from individuals by saying, look, we are standing up to the Republicans, but we still believe in our governance. We still believe in our institutions. It allows a way for a third party, I believe, that we haven't seen since the last century, if folks remember. And that actually allows for the Republicans who are moderate, whether it is the Mitt Romneys that have recently retired, or if it is the Jody Ernst and the Lisa Murkowskis, for them to find themselves and to speak to the American people about the importance of having a conservative branch that actually does believe in governance.